Well, new at 4, Friday night means high school football is back, and our 44 sports reporter, Emmy Baker, is out at this week's Game of the Week. Emmy, tell me about that matchup between North Posey and Heritage Hills.
Hey, Claire, it's going to be a Pocket Athletic Conference matchup, and it's going to be pretty intense. Both teams are looking to make their way back to Lucas Oil Stadium this year, just like they did last year for the state championship. Now, I do have head coach Waylon Schenk with me. Coach, in terms of over the last 5 seasons, we're actually going to do a little bit of a walk and talk. We're starting the 20-yard line. But in terms of over the last 5 weeks, what has been the most improvement that you've seen with your team so far in order to fire on all cylinders?
Our offensive line. We got 4 new starters from last year's state run, and we knew coming in that was going to be a big question mark for us. Those guys have really gotten better each week, and as they've gotten better, we've become more consistent offensively. So that was our big concern coming into the season, and as long as those guys continue to improve week in and week out, we'll have a shot at kind of making a deep run again this year.
You've talked about overcoming the mental mistakes the past 5 weeks as well, but in terms of that, what can you lay credit to in terms of, their overall effort or certain things like that? What can you credit that to in overcoming the mental mistakes?
Well, the effort for our kids have been phenomenal all year. I haven't been able to question that at all, and that has been what's allowed us to overcome, the mental mistakes we're making. But as kids get more reps, more time, especially at the varsity level, the game's really starting to slow down for those guys. We got a sophomore quarterback who is starting to see everything. He looks like a veteran out there right now. And we've got, like I said, a bunch of young offensive linemen. Week 1, I preached all game. You guys, you got to communicate. You got to call out your blocking schemes. And I realized they didn't really know how to communicate because they were trying to figure out the speed of this game. And as the game slowed down, our confidence has really grown, and that's helped us have success.
Speaking of your quarterback, Carter Schneckel, how would you describe his overall delivery in the last 4 games?
He's been great. He's made some silly sophomore mistakes that we expected him to make really going on coming into the season. Our concern was more so how is he going to handle the mistakes? How's he going to bounce back? He's a super competitive kid. He's really hard on himself. But he has handled all those situations really well. He's kind of been the calming factor in our offense, and we didn't know how that would work having a sophomore first-time starter back there, but we couldn't be happier right now with where he's at and the maturity level he's shown as a first-year starter.
You've talked about a little bit before we got on air, calm before the storm in terms of you going up against Heritage Hills. How have you kind of prepared your team for tonight's matchup? It's going to be a really big night for you all.
Yeah, it's hard to prepare. They're a great team, great program, great community support. We got to rely on the situations that these guys have been in the past. We've played at Lucas Oil Stadium. We've played in a sellout crowd at home and in a semi-state last year. So we're going to have to pull from those situations and those experiences. But at the same time, and we're just going to have to settle in and play football. I'm hoping once the game starts, that what goes on between the line is kind of the calm. But right now there's a lot of buzz. It's going to be a huge crowd. I think it's the game of the week across the state, not just here locally, but it's a great opportunity just for us to see where we're at. I told the kids, let's play without pressure. This game essentially is just a measuring stick for us. It's not a conference matchup. It's not a sectional opponent. Let's just go out and see how we match up against some of the best talent in the state and get better while we do it.
Well, I'm excited to watch it.
It'll be a fun time. If you haven't been to Poseyville for a big game, it's an experience, and we'll have a packed crowd. I know they'll travel well. This is what small town football is all about.
You gotta love it. That's why you love Friday Night Football.
Absolutely, it's great.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate your time. Well, kickoff is set for 7 p.m. tonight, and just like he said, it's going to be an intense game. It's going to be something that a lot of people are coming out for just to witness. They remain undefeated, and Heritage Hills is 3-1 on the season. So will the Vikings remain undefeated? I guess we'll see. But for now, reporting live in Posey County, Emmy Baker, 44 News.